Welcome to this Literacy Shared Adobe Express challenge. In this tutorial, we're going to design a pathetic fallacy mood chart for the film Little Freak. If you need free Adobe Express for education accounts for your school, visit the link on screen. And there you'll also find all the other free things we do for schools like live lessons, teacher training, and lesson packs. Let's get on with the challenge.
So let's create a pathetic fallacy chart by going over to the plus in the top left, giving it a click, go down to poster. Now I think I'm going to rename my pathetic fallacy example so I can find it later. And first thing we're going to do is go to background color, choose a background, any sort of background, doesn't really matter. Something like this looks pretty good. And then I'm going to go to text, add your text, paste in the title of my piece of work. And then you can go to your recommended fonts here and just choose one that you think is pretty cool. Doesn't really matter what it is. That one looks pretty good to me. Now that that's in, I want to kind of make it like pop up the page. So I'm going to go back on here, go down to shape, and then I'm going to use this one, which goes all the way from one side to the other. Click it again on the sliders. I'll make the shape size a little bit bigger. That's cool. And the text fill, I shall change to white. Now, that doesn't pop off the page very well. So I'm going to change my background color. Maybe it needs to be slightly darker. Yeah, that sort of makes it a bit better. But I think it's the shape fill that needs to be darker, in fact. There we go. That's much better now. It's much more readable.
Hey, I hope you're having fun so far. Teachers, if you'd like a PDF mapping this activity to the NCCE Teach Computing curriculum, follow the link that's on screen now. Okay, back to the challenge.
Next thing, I'm going to go to elements here, and I'm going to go across to shapes. And I'm just looking for a rectangle because I want to have, in the same way that I have this box which is going behind pathetic fallacy examples, I want to do that for different types of weather. And I'm going to do that by selecting the fill color and my dropper tool to select the same yellow as the one there. And I'm also going to go and put some text in. So add my text. First one will be rain. And then I'll resize that, pop it around about there. That'll do. I want it to be the same as the text above. So let's have a look. That's called Noto Sans. Bold italic. Perfect. And then let's change the fill color to be white. Okay, make it slightly smaller because the title is obviously the most important thing. And then pop it in roughly about there. And then I'm going to press the three dots, duplicate it, and then bring my other one around about here. And then change that to sun. Okay, now that that's been done once, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag over all of this. And then you can see it says group. Well, I'll group it. Why not? That'll be the first thing I do. And then I'm going to press the three dots and duplicate. And then I'm going to bring this one down here. Roughly around about there is good. And then I'm also going to duplicate again and bring this one down here. Now, I've messed up the spacing between these. So let's, there we go. That gives us roughly, maybe it needs to go a little bit further up. That gives us, there we go, roughly the same amount of space to work with across the page. Once I've done that, let's change the words in here. I'm going to do 6 examples. You can do as many as you like. Okay. Now that we've got all the different weather conditions that you might see in different films and in books and things like that, let's go to elements again, go over to icons. Let's get an icon for each of these things. I'm going to make sure that the size isn't too big. I don't want it to be too big. And keep it all consistent. Okay, now that I've got those there, doesn't matter where they're positioned particularly, but I'm going to go into my media. I'm going to go into photos, and I'm going to search for photos that I think would represent some of the feelings you might expect that the author is trying to give you, putting these examples of pathetic fallacy into their work. So for rain, maybe like sadness. So here we can go to something like this one is good. I'm going to click it. I'm going to crop it. There we go. And then I'm just going to move that into the frame and then click outside. Perfect. That's good. And another good example would be crying. So here I'm going to grab this photo here and then give it a crop. You want to make it really obvious to the viewer exactly what you're saying in terms of what the example of pathetic fallacy is. Once that's in, then you've got it sized up in the right way. You want to make sure that your rain cloud is not only positioned in between these two examples, but also if you click on the button here and go bring forward or bring to front, just make sure it's on top of any of these pictures here. Now I'm going to do the same thing for all the others now as well. Now that all those are in, just let me point out a few things. When you're searching for some of your images, you might not want to choose sort of things that you might think are obvious. Like, for example, when it's windy, sometimes it feels like you're being buffeted all around a place, like you're on a roller coaster. So I search for roller coaster here. When it snows, sometimes it feels magical, but also sometimes it feels lonely. When you're in a storm, often it's that bad things are going to happen and scary things like Dracula and monsters and things like that. When you're in the fog, sometimes you feel lost, sometimes you feel confused. So use different words to try and convey what you mean for each one of these examples of pathetic fallacy. Now that I've done all of those, I'm going to click on the side here, stretch up until I've included everything, just bump everything up just ever so slightly, and also make sure that all of your icons are all at the front. So make sure you click and go bring to front. Make sure they're on the top. Okay, now that you're done, you can download it by clicking here. It will have the same file name as the project name you gave it as well. Save it to your computer. And then you can also press share, invite people to collaborate via email, send it to Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, or create a view-only link. And that's how you create a pathetic fallacy chart using Adobe Express.